Welcome back to the main Diasicast. I am your host, Carson Piasic, and with me is co-host Angel Diaz. And we are back for game 2 of the playoff doubleheader in the SPBL semifinal game number 2. The energy in this building is palpable as we just witnessed the Ball Hogs take down the Blackfriars in what was an instant classic. The Ball Hogs advancing to the championship on the shoulders of Garrett Brooks, potential MVP candidate. But game number 2 here, we have Scrappers versus Mystics, and there are storylines written all over this one. Scrappers come into this tournament as the number 1 seed, back-to-back defending champions, led by their core of Chris Keena, Chris Heights, and Carson Braswell, who have been to 2 straight championships, winning both of them, and are looking for their 3rd straight championship appearance in this 3rd SPBL season. Chris Keena is the leading scorer of this team, leading scorer in the league, averaging 30 points per game in a potential MVP case for himself. He also averages 9 rebounds and 4 assists a game. Chris Heights is his partner in crime, averaging 5 points and 10 rebounds, and Carson Braswell averages 5 and 5 himself. Both of them are key teammates of this Scrappers team who have been to 3 straight titles. Now, this 4th team member has been rotating each of the past 3 years. First season, it was Logan Shira. Last season, it was Stephen Keena. And now this season, it is Michael Roberts, a big man on this Scrappers team that they have not had in the past. And Michael Roberts has been a welcome addition for this team, averaging 10 points and 11 rebounds. Angel, what are you looking for out of the Scrappers role players going into the playoffs here? Obviously, Chris Keena is the focal point of this offensive team, but if you're the Scrappers coach, what are you looking for out of these role players? What can they offer Chris, both on the offensive and defensive end?
Well, yeah, first of all, I'm super excited because this is the playoffs. Obviously, the Scrappers are arguably the favorites to win it all, but obviously the Mystics have a chance to pull off the upset. In regard to your question, I think that we all know that Chris is going to be the main guy. He will be their main scorer each game. But if you're the Scrappers, I would try to get some of the other guys involved pretty early. Maybe get some wide open shots for Heights and Brazzy from outside of the key. Try to get them going early in the game, and that way you will put a lot less pressure on Chris, because even though Chris is more than capable of putting up 20 to 30 points a game, you don't want to tire him out right away in the first quarter. So getting the guys open, maybe drawing up some plays for Brazzy or Heights to get a wide open 3, and I think it's a good way to start off the game if you're the Scrappers.
For sure. And Heights, while he might not be a high volume 3-point shooter, he was one of the highest percentage 3-point shooters in the league this season, shooting 27% from 3. A great showing from him this season. And that was a focal point for himself coming into this season. He was putting in a lot of work in the offseason, trying to get his shot down and ready for this 2024 season. Now, the Mystics are led by Hunter Freeman, and he has been a MVP candidate for the first 2 seasons. He's also back-to-back Most Improved Player of the Year. And while he's not necessarily favored to win the award this season, he was able to lead the Mystics in a defeat of the Scrappers earlier this season. One of their 2 wins on the season came against this very Scrappers team in their only matchup. They won 59-51, with Hunter scoring 29 points in that matchup, also had 19 rebounds. And Neil was electric in that one with 17 points, hitting many clutch threes. And overall, down the stretch, this Mystics team quite surprisingly hit a lot of free throws to ice the game away against the Scrappers, despite the Scrappers' push at the end. Hunter and Neil, who are the leading offensive players for this team, are joined by Dave Keena, who averages 5 points and 10 rebounds on the season, and Travis Wilson, who averages 8 points and 7 rebounds on the season. So both of those two have been able to score and provide support when called upon, but both Hunter and Neil are the focal points for the offensive side. And interestingly, they have been struggling to get them both going in the same game. And so that's going to be something to watch out for in this one. one of the few games that they were able to both get going was against the Scrappers team. And if you're the Scrappers defensively, you got beat really badly by the Mystics in their last meeting, with Hunter putting up 29, Neil hitting many big shots. So the Mystics are certainly going to have to anticipate some defensive adjustments from the Scrappers. What do you think the Mystics should be looking for in this one? What do you think the Mystics should be expecting from the Scrappers to do defensively?
Yeah, like I said earlier, so I think the Scrappers are going to be the favorites in this game. So if you are the Scrappers from their perspective, you need to limit those 3-pointers from Travis and Neil. And that way, you probably remove their only chance of actually beating the Scrappers. And that's by both of them getting hot. So we're the Mystics, you try to get some threes early in the game, try to build up a big lead. And if you're the Scrappers, you're going to try to prevent those two guys from getting hot.
That's a great point to look out for. And I know Neil has been looking forward to this matchup since they last met. Even before the season started, Neil called out Chris in the media day, saying that Chris was scared of him. And boy, did he show up in their first meeting. Now, Chris did score 39 points in that matchup, which is a career high for him. So we'll be seeing if the Mystics can make the necessary defensive adjustments on Chris. But they really did limit the rest of the Scrappers in that game, and forcing Chris to do it all was a bit too much for the Scrappers to overcome. He scored 39 of their 51 points, but again, it was not enough. The energy in the building is electric right now. These stands are packed, and we are ready for tip-off here. We've got Michael and Hunter going at the tip. Stam Sadwhite, referee, tipping off, and it is Scrappers' ball to start the game. Now, I will note many of the fans in attendance appear to be cheering for the Mystics in this one, hoping for a new team to win, as Chris immediately knocks down a three-pointer, something that he's not been as good at this season.
Yeah, great start for the Scrappers, getting a wide open three for Chris. If I'm the Scrappers, I try to get the other guys going, but it's not a bad thing to start off a game with a three-pointer from your best player either.
Just immediately on the other end, getting the steal too, coming up behind Travis. And you saw Chris guarding Neil on that possession. Chris knows that Neil was putting up some crazy shots that last matchup, and he was hitting them all. And Chris is definitely going to want to avoid that in this one, avoid a repeat of all those big shots from Neil.
Yeah, and Neil's arguably their best player out in the perimeter, so it's interesting seeing Chris as he gets another two-pointer to go, another basket, I should say, guarding him on defense. So we'll see if Chris can keep up the whole game, because that is a big task defensively, and obviously he has the burden on the offensive side.
Exactly. Chris pokes up all the way there again. He has noted that he wants to increase his stamina, but we'll see if he can hold up for this game. Obviously, a really big game. No travel call there. It looked like Hunter might have lost that one, but they think the ball was tipped. This shot from Neil, rebound to Chris. Chris now with 5 points, a steal, and a rebound, doing it all for this Scrappers team.
Yeah, no, you said it right there. I mean, as we see Michael with the rare three-pointer, and that's not a great look for him, especially if it's contested. But yeah, as you said, Chris is all out energy right away. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so we'll see once again if he can keep up in the second half. But he is obviously coming out with a chip on his shoulder this game, clearly.
For sure. And you got to think that part of that chip is from that last loss to these Mystics. It was an upset win for the Mystics back then, and the Mystics do match up fairly well with this Scrappers team. But you know that Chris, especially being back-to-back champion, he does not want to go out like this as the top overall seed, losing to the 4 seed. As Carson Braswell hits the 3 as the Scrappers jump out to an 8-0 lead and force the Mystics to call timeout.
Wow, that's an unexpected three-pointer by Brazzi, because that was early out in the possession, and even though they did give him space, he's usually looking to swing that ball. So great sign for the Scrappers to get your role players to not be afraid of shooting those three-pointers right away in the game, which is what I said should be their strategy to this game.
Gotta love the confidence from Carson Braswell as Chris tips that pass and gets another steal. Chris up to Michael Roberts, who loses the handle. Could have been a 10-0 run to start the game. Mystics get the ball back. They are lucky on that one.
No, but even though there was a turnover right there, great way to push the ball up early in possession with the Scrappers. They're clearly coming out with a lot more energy than the Mystics. And this is a bad start for them right away.
Definitely. You can tell the Scrappers came out very prepared and very energetic. They know what it takes to win a championship. They've been to two of them. They've won two championships already, looking for a three-peat. Can it be done? They're off to a hot start this playoffs. Heights shoots the three and too good off the backboard. Almost went down for him still. Neil clears it.
And that is 1 3-pointer for each of the Scrappers, each of their players right away. And once again, this is what you need to do, because if you're the Mystics, you're looking to stop Chris. But if you're getting each of your players going early in the game, then that creates a lot more opportunities for Chris.
Right. If the Mystics know that they have to step out on those other guys, on those role players, it might open up some more lanes for Chris to get some buckets. And that's what Chris wants. So I'm sure Chris was all on his teammates' ears, telling them to not be afraid to shoot. Heights gets the steal there. Travis pokes it out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Scrappers going the other way.
I'm surprised there wasn't a foul called, but I like the no call. That was some good physical playoff defense, and I'm glad that the refs are letting them play right away.
Referee Garrett Brooks let that one go on. Shirtless Garrett Brooks coming off of the victory in the other playoff game, as we just mentioned.
And we got Mr. Jamarcus Russell out repping as well. Interesting jersey.
All-time great
jersey and
an
interesting location as well.
No good from Heights. A bad miss on that one, but it stays with the Scrappers off of a hustle from Michael.
Yeah, it's 3-pointer number 2 by Heights.
Chris gets it into Chris, goes out of bounds, but stays with the Scrappers, poked out of bounds by Hunter. Scrappers still lead by a score of 8-0. Chris pulls another three, no good. Michael Roberts with a rebound. And if you're Hunter, you just have to get that rebound. You can't let these Scrappers get multiple chances. Chris misses again.
Get a rebound.
Oh, foul after the Scrappers pull away. Oh, this is a foul on the Scrappers. Interesting call there. Scrappers pleading their case.
Yeah, I did not see a foul there, but that was, I believe, 3-pointer number 7 or 8 in regards to attempts. So the Scrappers are shooting those threes early, and even on those misses, they are going to be long ones. So perfect opportunities to crash the boards, and that's what they were doing. As we see Heights crashing, and a foul is called, I believe.
Scrappers definitely have come into this one knowing that everyone is against them, knowing that everyone's cheering against them. And with the league format and referees being players in the league, you got to think the Scrappers are feeling at a bit of a disadvantage right now. They are definitely feeling as though everyone is against them, and they were very unhappy with that last call. But calls will go both ways, and obviously the referees are doing their best so far. Chris pulls a deep three short, but it's another offensive rebound for Michael. Michael with another offensive rebound. Another offensive rebound. Oh man. Saves it. And it's Hunter that comes up with it. Michael putting in work on the offensive glass.
Yeah, you gotta love it for the Scrappers. I mean, diving all over the floor, crashing, getting several offensive rebounds. Michael is bringing the energy early in the game for the Scrappers.
Scrappers definitely out hustling. Mystics still looking for their first bucket in this one. And it's Scrappers' ball. Score is still 8-0.
A lot of these shots with the Mystics are just contested 3-pointers. I want to see a bit more ball movement, maybe a pick and roll and get someone rolling, and you throw them a bounce pass for a layup. But too many contested 3-pointers aren't a good way to get your first points of the game.
There's some good movement on offense right now. A lot of off-ball screens being set, trying to set some shooters up open.
Yeah, and that's the difference right away in this game. I mean, both teams are shooting 3-pointers. Like, there's no tomorrow, but some of these looks that the Scrappers are getting are coming off of good off-ball movement and just good offense in general.
Chris gets Travis switched onto him. He's looking to ISO, it appears. Instead, gives it over to Heights. Heights gives it over to Brazzy, who pulls his second three. No good. From the same spot, another offensive rebound from Michael. That one didn't require much hustle as it went right to him, but that's another one in the books for Michael.
Yeah, even when he's not trying to get offensive rebounds, the ball just magically comes to him.
He's a magnet right now on these boards. Dave with the ball, Heights defending. Travis looking for Hunter. Hunter trying to get in good position on Michael. Puts it up, blocked by Michael, and Michael dominating in the paint right now against Hunter.
Yeah, great defense by Michael right there.
Hunter, as we noted, had 29 points and 19 rebounds in that last matchup. Got to think that it was a focal point for the Scrappers to defend that paint and really occupy it. 1 minute left to go in the first quarter. The Mystics have still yet to score. The energy from the Scrappers has really shut down the Mystics so far in this one.
Yes, if you're the Mystics, what you need to do is get stops, continue getting stops, but you need to get rebounds. Once you get a rebound, leak out in transition, as we see another block by Michael, and we see a foul. But as I was saying, Mystics need to get going out in transition because their half-court offense is looking rough. Try to get some easy points. Just one basket is all it takes at times. So get a stop, leak out in transition, and get an easy opportunity. As we see free throws here for the Mystics.
So we're going to the line. Hits the first free throw for the first points of the game for the Mystics. Hunter, not exactly the best free throw shooter in the league, shooting just 48% from the free throw line. But again, the free throw numbers in this league are not great in general. So you'll take 1 for 2 there from the line from Hunter. Scrappers ball up 8-1 with 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
And then the Scrappers are holding for the last shot of the quarter. As I say that, they get a good look, and you will take that every single time.
Chris with a nice pass to Carson. Both of them have 5 points in this first quarter to round out the scoring for the Scrappers. Mystics have yet to make a field goal. Hunter looking for one, does not get it. Kicks out to Travis. Travis over to Neal. Chris on him. Closing seconds here in this first quarter. Mystics looking for 1 bucket. And they do not get the shot off. Travis tries to get that going. And it is 10-1 to end the first quarter. Both Chris and Carson Braswell have hit a 3 and made a 2, 5 points apiece, while the lone point for the Mystics comes on a Hunter free throw.
Yeah, not a great start, obviously, for the Mystics, but trying to get going in the second quarter, and this is a good way to get going as we see a pick and roll and a drive and get extra free throws. So good take by Travis.
Good move getting Chris up in the air, getting the foul drawn on the pump fake. Chris obviously full of energy right now, trying to go all out on both ends. Travis kind of using that against him there, getting him up in the air. Travis going to the line for 2. Knocks down the first, and it is 10-2. Mystics still yet to make a field goal, but score is 10-2. You got to think that they're pretty happy so far with the defensive effort, at least for the Mystics. Carson Braswell with 5 points. He averages only 5 a game, so a bit of an unlikely hero so far for the Scrappers, putting them up to that 10-2 lead. But overall, pretty solid job defensively for the Mystics.
Yeah, and if you're the Scrappers, you just got to play hands-up defense. The only way the Mystics have been scoring is by getting to the line. So if you're the Scrappers, just hands-up defense. Don't jump on fakes, because this is what's really helping the Mystics right now, getting to the line.
You hear the crowd applaud whenever these Mystics hit a free throw. They're now 3 of 5 from the line. Make that 4 of 6 from the line for the Mystics. Mentioned last time when they played against the Scrappers, they hit many consecutive free throws down the stretch to close it out. a team that is not known for free throw shooting at all. A lot of poor free throw shooters on the team, but they really posted out in that one, found their rhythm from the line, and they have been making them so far here today, 4 for 6 to start.
Yeah, interesting pass out by Carson Braswell, who looked like he had a wide open layup, but swung it out to Heights, and you end up with the Michael three-pointer, which obviously you take the layup. You'd rather him take the layup there.
It's over Chris. Chris with Travis on him again. Tries it with the screen. You got to think that Chris is looking to drive on Travis, but they do have Hunter and Dave both waiting down in the paint. Chris does not care, though, as he was right by them for a layup.
Yeah, great take by Chris, getting by his defender and incorporating the hop step in his finish.
Makes it 12-4, Scrappers lead. Chris leading the way with 7 points here for the Scrappers. Dave gets tripped by Heights. There's a foul on the floor. Mystics retain possession. Referee Alan Edeker with the ball. Alan, the Flying Dutchman Edeker is what the league calls him. And Alan has been known to perfect the strategy of guarding Hunter. And the word is that Michael was watching some Allen tape guarding Hunter from their matchup and was using that in order to determine how he could best guard Hunter. So far, he's been absolutely locked down, just a couple of fouls. But Neil there with the 3, and you need to see that for the Mystics. Got to see some shots go in. First made a field goal of the game, coming 2 minutes into the second quarter.
And looking at Braz's reaction, he cannot believe it that Neil is more than capable of hitting those shots. That's good defense. There's not much you can do about that. Sometimes it just goes in.
Neil, I'm sure, was happy to see him get Chris switched off of him. Chris has been guarding for most of the game. He does it again, sets that screen, but Travis takes the shot, and it's going to be Scrapper's ball after the miss. Timeout.
I believe we have a timeout, yes.
Scrappers lead by a score of 12-7. Chris still with 7 points, matching the Mystics' total scoring record so far. Blocked shot, blocked pass maybe, as Michael tried to go up with it. Chris going in, shoots the floater. No good. Brazzy with the board and kicks it out to Michael. Michael for 3.
That was good defense. I believe it was a block on the Michael take.
Mystics clear out and go down the other way. Neil goes for the layup and it goes. Neil with back-to-back buckets. The only one so far to make a shot for him. He's got 5 already so far. Hunter with 3 and Dave with the lone, or Travis with the lone free throw.
That is a tough take. Back-to-back tough shots by Neil.
Michael misses the running layup. Hunter with the rebound. And Mystics going down the other way, down just 12-9.
And if you're the Scrappers and if you're Michael in particular, Michael's having an outstanding game defensively and crashing the boards, but some of these looks just seem to be a bit forced. I would try to get Chris going a bit more in the second quarter and beat the hot hand in Brazzy. He's hit a couple of shots. I would look to kick out on those drives if you're Michael.
Neil had the offensive rebound off of the Dave miss. Tried to go with the hook shot, but missed. And Heights hits the 3 on the other end. That is 3 different players now for the Scrappers to hit a 3 already. 1 from each of Carson, Chris, and Heights. Scrappers pull out to a 15-9 lead. Travis going in. Travis tries to find Dave. Dave with Heights guarding him down in the paint. Tries to back him down. Goes for the no good. And Mike Roberts with the board. Heights looks like he got hit in the face maybe on that shot from Dave. Will play on.
He did. Great defense by Heights moving his feet. And the post-ups just aren't working for the Mystics right now. What has been working is the pick and rolls and just driving to the hoop and getting fouls. As we see Chris with a miss and Michael with another rebound and Chris with another three-pointer. And that one is good.
Chris with 2 threes now here in this one. He's got 10 points already, and the Scrappers pull out to an 18-9 lead. Right as the Mystics started to get close, pulled it within 3. Scrappers hit back-to-back threes, get the lead back out to 9, and there's a travel call on the Mystics. Mystics, just when you thought they were getting back into it, now they have to regroup and get back to what they were doing earlier in the quarter.
Yeah, and once again, if you're the Mystics, you just need to box out Michael. I mean, as you see, Chris with another great take. But as I was saying, you keep Michael out off of those boards, and that prevents a Chris three-pointer. So you just gotta put a body on Michael. You can't let him be a threat near the rim in regards to rebounding, as we see David with an air ball from 3.
Not the probably not the look that the Mystics wanted that early in the shot clock. Dave, Hunter, and Travis are lower 3-point percentage shooters in the league. Both have been able to hit some. Both Travis and Dave have been able to hit some, but not necessarily the best look that early in the shot clock for the Mystics. Luckily, they are fortunate to have the Scrappers air ball out of bounds, and it will be their ball going the other way.
Yeah, but I like that shot of your heights. I mean, those are good shots, and you've been shown to get plenty of offensive rebounds on those long misses. So not a bad look if you're the Scrappers. As you see, Heights with another great defensive possession getting the steal.
Heights has been fantastic on defense so far, as has Michael. Both of them have been really up to the task so far in this one. Chris with 12 points, looking for 14, misses, and Michael fighting for another rebound, does not get it. It will be Mystics ball.
Yeah, the in-between game hasn't worked very well for Chris. What has worked are the three-pointers or the takes all the way to the hoop. I would look for him to drive in a bit more aggressively on those takes and not settle for those tough 8 to 10 foot push / mid-range jumpers.
Yeah, and maybe if you do go all the way, you get fouled. And I know Chris is not fond of his own free throw shooting, but probably better return than pulling up from those 8 to 10 foot shots as he misses the layup over Neal there. Great defense from Neal. Tries to save it, and it goes off the sideline hoop. Electric play from Neal going for that save.
It's not his fault. I mean, the hoop is just randomly there. Good effort by Neal.
Could never have expected that. Mystics have not scored since the back-to-back field goals from Neal. Neal still leading the way with 5 points. Only 2 made field goals for the Mystics in this first half as they trail 20-9. Carson Braswell over to Michael. Michael finds Heights. Heights over to Chris. Drives in for the layup, and it's good. 14 points for Chris in this first half. He has come out firing. We'll see if he can keep it up the whole game. But man, has he been going hard on both ends of the floor to start this one.
Yeah, and this is great offense for the Scrappers. I mean, you're getting so many good looks. I mean, it's night and day compared to the offense that the Mystics are running at this point of the game.
Travis with Brazzy guarding him. Drives in off the backboard, no good. Rough touch on that one as Brazzy clears it over to Chris. Chris with Travis guarding, pulls up from 3, airballs it. Hunter going the other way, trying to push it on the fast break. Instead, just slows it up.
Yeah, and if you, obviously we can't rewind, but if you were to rewind in the last play, we see a deep 3 by Chris. He tries to get his own rebound because he knew it was short. But what are you doing if you're Travis? You need to be leaking out, but he just stands there. Maybe it's because he's tired. Maybe it's because it's the end of the half. But that's a perfect opportunity to get some easy baskets, and the Mystics just haven't taken that opportunity yet.
3 seconds, winding seconds of the first half. Heights misses the 3, and that will bring us to halftime with the Scrappers leading 22-9. Chris leading the way with 14 points. Carson Braswell with 5, and Chris Heights with 3 to round up the scoring for the Scrappers. On the other side, Neal is the only player on the Mystics to make a field goal with 5 points. And then we got Hunter with 3 made free throws and Travis with 1. And obviously, so far, Mystics can't be too upset with their defense, only giving up 22 points in that first half, despite the many good looks that they've given up. But their offense needs some work. What do you think the Mystics can do to get some better looks in the second half to try to claw back?
I think just some better ball movement offensively. It's just, I think they're trying to force the post-up action a little bit too much, but it's not working. What has given them success is getting to the line and just attacking the basket. And some good ways to do so are with pick and rolls, but also just leaking out transition, like how I said. They haven't had a single fast break opportunity yet, at least not that I remember. And those are just easy ways to get good baskets, easy baskets, and you just haven't taken advantage of that so far.
Hunter gets 2 more free throws. He is now 5 for 6 at the line, which is a bit unexpected. Chris goes down hard on that drive. He gets helped up by Travis. Some good sportsmanship there, but it was a shooting foul, so Chris will go to the line for 2 shots.
And that's a great decision by Chris as he was driving in from the top of the key. It looked like he was thinking of a pull-up mid-range jumper, but he heard what I said in the first half. He needs to take an extra dribble and attack the basket, and lucky is at the free throw line. So good decision by Chris.
Chris knocks down the first free throw.
And as Chris is getting a second free throw, it's another opportunity for him to catch his breath. Obviously, he's exerting a lot of energy out in the court, and just attacking the basket and getting these free throws are a good way for him to catch his breath and to settle down just a little bit because he is playing extra hard this game, from what I am seeing.
Definitely. That gets him up to 16 points. Travis hits the running shot. Gets him on the field goal board. It's the only other player now for the Mystics to make a field goal. Puts him up to 3 points.
Yeah, good take by Travis.
Heights off the back of the rim. Neal with the rebound, going the other way.
Yeah, but I like what I'm seeing from the Scrappers. I mean, a lot of their key players, as we see a missed three-pointer by I believe Dave, and what a trick shot there. But I like the offense that the Scrappers are running. I mean, they're getting open shots for a lot of their players, and they've been able to make a lot of these three-pointers. And you just got to keep on shooting them if you're that wide open from the three-point line.
Brazzy over to Heights. Heights back to Brazzy, who has Neal defending him. It's been interesting. The Mystics have been having Travis guard Chris, who goes right in for another layup.
Yeah, you might need to try out a different matchup because Chris is having his way offensively. And usually I will, as we see, a good take by Travis getting fouled. But usually I would say if you are the opposing team, you need to load up on Chris. Whenever you see him drive, you need to pack the paint and help off of your guy a bit. In this particular game, it's a bit tricky because Brazzy and Heights have been lethal from the three-point line. So it's kind of a pick or poison bet. I think with that in mind, I think you need to switch to the matchup. I think that's your best bet at this point in the game.
Stop complaining. You're up by so much.
Travis goes to the line. Chris now up to 18 points in this one. Travis hits both free throws to get himself to 3 for 4 from the line. And just like last game, I mean, these Mystics are hitting their free throws. They are now a combined 8 for 10 from the line.
And that's what's keeping them in this game. I mean, as you see Michael with another three-pointer, and perfect opportunity to take advantage in the fast break.
Neal with the fadeaway over Michael's outstretched
that is a tough shot. But as I was saying, the free throws are what's keeping the Mystics in the game, and 8 for 10 is, you take that in this league.
Definitely. Neal, the leading scorer for this team so far, he has 7 points. He's made 3 of their 4 field goals in the game. Heights misses a 3. Travis battles for that rebound over Brazzy, and it will be Mystics' ball.
Yeah, the Mystics' game plan must have just been, hey, as we see an air ball from 3. But I think the Mystics' game plan just had to been, you know what, we'll live with the results in regard to the other guys that are named Chris, Hina, because there is another Chris in the team, to shoot from 3. As you see, a great take by Chris. And they clearly haven't they've clearly stuck with that philosophy, just living with the result, because we see in the second half, Heights is getting plenty of great opportunities from the top of the key. So I think adjustments are needed, especially if he keeps on making. As we see Neil with another 3-pointer, and that one is a tough one. But yeah, if you're the Mystics, I do think that you need to make some changes. It's not working
Neal up
defensively.
to 10 points after that three, and that three was reminiscent of their first matchup against each other. The runner on the right side of the 3-point line bangs the three. He trying to will the Mystics back into this one. Ball top of the key. Dave pulls the three. It gets blocked by Heights, who has been a monster on defense.
Yeah, not a great look if you're Dave. I believe he's still scoreless up to this point. So you can tell he is trying to, as we see Chris with a deep 3-pointer, that's no good. Mike with another rebound and a putback. Oh, he misses that. I believe Dave is just trying to force it, trying to get on the board. That's just not a great way to do so.
Surprisingly, Michael has also been held scoreless despite his dominance down in the paint on the defensive and rebounding aspects. But on the other end, as you mentioned it, Dave also scoreless. All other 6 players have scored so far in this one. Again, Mystics really being carried in the field goal department by Neal, who gets stripped by Chris Heights. Another defensive play for Heights, gives up to Brazzy, who gets fouled by Neal, goes down hard. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, that did not look good. That another great defensive play by Heights. I mean, whether it's blocking 3-point attempts, whether it is, stripping the ball away from the other team, or whether it's playing very good, solid low post defense. Heights is just a versatile weapon on the defensive end. I mean, what hasn't he done tonight?
Brazzy, 5 points in the game, misses the first free throw. Second leading scorer for the Scrappers behind Chris with 20 points, who is currently tied with the Mystics by himself. Brazzy misses both free throws. Hunter rips that rebound away from Heights, and Michael fight down there for the board. Neal pulls up from deep. It's good! Neal again! He's up to 13 points, and it is a 28-23 game. Mystics are back in this one on the back of Neal's back-to-back threes.
Yeah, and Heights just had a call timeout. But what do you say in that huddle? I mean, that's great defense. It's just better offensive for Neal.
Neal with a couple contested threes. You know he's feeling it right now. He thought he might pull it right there, but Michael strips it away from him. Tries to save it, but it stays with the Mystics.
Yeah, I think for the Scrappers, it's tough because he can pull up from three at any point. It's whenever you're not expecting it, he's shooting that 3-pointer. So we just got to be aware of that and not give him any space, because it only takes a few inches for him to decide to take a deep 3-pointer in your face.
You see Chris guarding him tightly. Michael all over Hunter. Hunter is yet to make a shot in this game, which is a big surprise for him. Misses that one, and out on Hunter. It will be Scrapper's ball. Credit to Michael for his fantastic defensive effort so far in this one. Both Michael and Chris Heights have been menaces on the defensive end for the Scrappers. This is exactly what they needed out of them. Chris providing a lot of offensive support, but that help on defense cannot be overstated.
Absolutely, as we see Michael with another, I believe, a deep 2-pointer that possession. But I guess if it's the Scrappers, you live with that. If that's what makes them happy and keeps them motivated defensively, and to keep them motivated in regards to crashing the boards.
He gives it out to Neal. Neal gets Brazzy to switch onto him, pulls the fadeaway three! The fadeaway three over Chris Heights. This is exactly like the first matchup. Neal going crazy here in the third quarter. 2 minutes left. 3 straight threes for Neal.
Funky dribble moves, funky shot selection, funky shooting form, doesn't matter. Swish.
It
That
goes in, and
is,
just like that, Neo's up to 17 points in this one, trailing Chris by only 3 points. He has 17 of the 26 points for the Mystics.
yeah, and he is keeping them in the game. I mean, who else has given this consistent production offensively? I mean, Travis has given you a few points. Hunter has given you a couple of points from the free throw line, but he has clearly been carrying them, especially in this third quarter.
Anytime he's gotten that switch, getting Chris off of him, he's been looking to shoot, and he has been delivering. The Mystics, they needed it more at this time more than ever before. It's a steal off of the lazy pass from Dave, but goes out of bounds, so it stays with the Mystics. Mystics very fortunate on that one. The hustle from Heights continues.
I mean, if the scrappers, obviously, it's clearly Neo who's been killing you defensively. But what do you do? Do you, as you see Heights hedging hard bait, what do you do? Do you double team him? I know it's a 4v4 game, as you see a great take by Hunter. Do you just
Hunter.
don't switch on the pick and roll? Do you keep Chris on him the whole time? I mean, you got to figure it out if you're the scrappers. You can't let this keep on going.
And the Scrappers have been really struggling this quarter. Hunter with his first basket of the game, and you really don't want Hunter to get going right now. First made field goal after his 5 free throws, so he's up to 7 points, and the Mystics tie it up at 28. What a quarter for the Mystics! What a response after coming into the quarter down 22-9. They are outscoring the Mystics 19-6 in this quarter, make that 19-7 after the Chris free throw, putting him up to 21 points.
And it's funny because both teams are playing the exact same way offensively. It's just that the shots that the Scrappers were making earlier in the game aren't going in at this point. And the shots that the Mystics were taking earlier in the game that they weren't hitting, now they are, especially in regard to Neo's three-pointers. So interesting to see. I mean, it's just sometimes it's just about whether the ball goes in. It's just that simple.
A complete reversal from the first half. And Chris hit a couple shots early on in this first quarter, early on in this third quarter, as Hunter goes right in for another bucket, and just like that, Hunter up to 9 points and going to the line for a 10th point here, starting to get going here in this third quarter.
The Mystics have a chance to take the lead for the first time in this game.
Mystics have battled back numerous times, looking for the lead. And Hunter delivers. He's 6 for 7 from the line. Mentioned he's a 48% free throw shooter, but it does not matter. He is knocking them down in the clutch when it's needed most. Mystics up by 1 now, late in the third quarter. We have a ball game. Heights airballs the 3. Mystics going back down the other way with the lead. Neal going in. Tries the reverse, no good, and it will be Chris going the other way. Chris pulls up from that mid-range, no good, and that is exactly the type of shot that you were telling him to avoid and just finish that drive off.
Yes, I believe he is 0 for 3 on those type of shots. Anywhere from, as you see, a tough three-pointer and a putback that goes in by Hunter at the buzzer.
Oh, it is a putback. Neal with that step back 3, tried to hit one more in this third quarter. Doesn't go, but Hunter with the flying putback. Hunter up to 12 points just like that. And the Mystics are up 33-30 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and this is Chris Keena time. I mean, it's the fourth quarter. Your team is down by 3 points. It's the playoffs. You need to start taking over and put on your cape. As you see a missed three-pointer, but an offensive rebound by Brazzi.
It's worth noting, Chris Keena had all 8 points for the Scrappers in that quarter. Heights misses the 3. No one else from the Scrappers has scored since halftime. Hunter goes right in for a layup, and Hunter up to 14 points now in this one. What a turnaround performance from him after that first bucket he had just a few minutes ago. he has been on a tear. And you see that right after Neil goes on the run, now Hunter, and the Scrappers really got to start to D up. Chris hits the mid range to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, tough shot by Chris, but now it is a two-man game in regard to the Mystics offensively. I mean, Neo's lethal from three-point line in the third quarter. Now we see Hunter taking it to the hoop and creating some good offense on those drives.
Chris going right at the Mystics, goes up to the lip. No good. Neil with the board. Mystics lead 35-32. Hunter going at Michael. Gets by Michael, but it stays with the Mystics.
Yeah, 1-on-2 offensively, but Hunter does not care. He takes it to the hoop and he gets blocked, but they remain with the ball.
Travis loses the ball. Chris and Roswell with the steal. Kicks up to Chris on the fast break, going at Dave. Gets the layup to go. Splits the lead to 35-34. Scrappers trying to battle back. Timeout, Mystics.
Yeah, and I believe all field goals have come from Chris in the fourth quarter. So if you're the Mystics, you got to be aware of that. In the third quarter, I believe Chris is looking to set up his teammates, but he has been clearly looking to switch his mindset this fourth quarter. And if you're the Mystics, you need to load up on those drives, and you got to force him to pass the ball out to his teammates.
Chris up to 26 points now. He has all of the points for the Scrappers in the second half. Neil misses the three, out of bounds, Scrappers ball. And you can say that's not a good look for Neil, but after what he's been hitting so far in this one, I don't know if anything's a bad look for him right now.
Yeah, you live with those if you're the Mystics.
Chris going into the paint. Mid-range pull-up, no good. Neil with a rebound, kicks over to Dave. Dave gonna push it up the floor. Both Michael and Heights back on defense. That's a scary sight as Michael gets the block. Heights gets the rebound.
Yeah, that was a foul.
Chris with the layup on the other end to give the Scrappers the lead back. Boy, Scrappers were definitely going to be getting nervous there, but they calmly recover, respond, and get the lead back 36-35. Chris up to 28 points now.
Yeah, good decision by Heights in that 2-on-1 fast break.
Neil with Chris guarding him out there. Using the screen, goes in for the layup, and it's good. Neil with another bucket. Neil up to 19 points in this one.
Yeah, great take by Neil. I don't think the Scrappers were expecting him to take it all the way to the hoop, and he takes advantage, and he has a nice finish to score that two-pointer.
Looks like it's a 3-second call on Hunter. Defensive of 3 seconds. So the Scrappers will get a technical free throw here.
I thought he was calling defense on.
And we'll see if Michael can get his first points of the game.
It's 3 in the lane.
Michael scoreless up to this point.
But is it
And he misses the free throw. Michael is a 48% free throw shooter on the season. Does not get that one to fall. And that is a weakness for the Scrappers, which could come into play down the stretch. The Scrappers are not a good free throw shooting team. Chris gets the screen from Heights. Michael gives it down to Heights. Chris goes for the floater. No good. Neil with the rebound.
Yeah, great help defense by Hunter there. He was expecting the finish by Chris, and that is exactly what happened.
Travis for three. No good. Dave tries to get the rebound. Travis ends up with the rebound. But Michael dives in it on the floor. Jump ball between Dave and Michael.
But me and Nate watch all of the games.
Yeah, great hustle by Michael, and we said it all game. I mean, he's been the hustle award winner for this game, with Heights being a close second.
For sure.
Little cleanup.
Great mop-up duties there from Sam Satterwhite. Unfortunately, his season just ended at the hands of Ball Hogs, as we mentioned before. but a fantastic season for Sam Satterwhite. First season in the SPBL, and might win MVP this season. He's certainly in the running. Certainly will be first team All SPBL as Michael gets the tip, smacks up to Bradley, who misses the layup.
Ooh, well, that was close on my line.
Yeah, tough luck. Obviously, gotta finish that, especially at this point in the game.
37-36. Looks like the Mystics called timeout there. A little bit of a reset here on offense. Mystics in the lead still. This game coming down to the wire. It looked like at halftime this game could turn into a blowout, but the Mystics battled right back. That third quarter filled with shots from Neil and Hunter as Neil airballs the three, but saved by Dave. Travis back to Neil. Gives it over to Hunter. Going into the lane on Michael. Layup, no good. Michael with the
Ooh,
rebound.
that looked like a foul there. Scrappers get lucky and get the stop.
Chris goes in. Travis tries to take the charge. Doesn't get the call. Chris with the offensive rebound over to Brazzy. Brazzy up to Heights. Heights pulls the three. It's good. Heights
He
with
banks
the
it in.
three. The first basket for the Scrappers from somebody not named Chris Keena since the second quarter. Comes on a three from Heights.
Yeah,
Gives the
tough break
Scrappers a
for the Mystics.
37 lead.
A banked in three-pointer, top of the key.
Toss it up.
Just tough to see.
Neil misses again, and Neil has gone cold after that run he had in the third quarter. Scrappers with a 2-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go in this one. It is crunch time now. Scrappers get the shot from Chris Bates. Chris Keena going to the lane, gets the layup to go off the glass, and Scrappers are up 41-37. Mystics need a response badly with 2 minutes to go.
And not only that, but they have all the momentum on their sides right now. Unless the Mystics can get a basket right here, the Scrappers are in a very, very nice position as they get a steal here, and we see
Foul called on Michael Roberts on a
foul.
loose ball there. And that is Michael Roberts' fifth
Foul on
foul.
Michael on a fast
So
break with Dave.
that will put the Mystics into the triple bonus. The rule here when player fouls out, the opposing team gets an extra free throw attempt. So that could be something to watch here down the stretch. Michael, with his fantastic defensive effort so far, he has gotten into some foul trouble, but the effort has been undeniable.
Yes, sometimes as you
Goes
see
into
a
the layup.
charge. That's great defense right there by Michael, putting his hands up and drawing the contact and forcing the charge.
Mystics knew he was fouling out. He was triple bonus potential there, but so they go right at him, and he spots up for the charge, gets the call. Sam with another mop job. Gotta love the refs watching out for player safety here down the stretch.
But at least it wasn't a blowout like it was at the beginning of the game.
Scrappers lead by 4. Chris Keena gonna probably slow it up here with 1:45 to go. Mentioned earlier, the Scrappers free throw shooting is not a strong suit of theirs. Heights pulls the three, and it's no good. Maybe not the shot you want that fast, that early into the possession.
Yeah, not a bad look at all, but at this point in the game, you're up by 4 points. It's a minute and a half left. You just gotta milk the clock. Don't shoot unless you have to, and he didn't there, so you got another stop here. You gotta make him foul you.
You gotta think that it's layups is what you want to do the Scrappers if you can get them. Otherwise, make those Mystics foul you. Mystics need to be aggressive here, obviously. Starting intentionally fouling with 1:20 left, but without a shot clock, there's not a whole lot you can do. Down 4 points, probably need multiple offensive possessions of scoring. We're going to start the fouling early.
Yeah, and as you had mentioned earlier, I mean, this isn't a strength for the Scrappers, so who do you give the ball to? Who do you turn to at this point of the game? It would be amazing if you had a consistent, reliable free throw shooter, but the Scrappers just don't have. You're just not fortunate to have one, so I would still get the ball in my best player's hands and
They fouled
trust
Chris
him.
and yeah. It will be Chris going to the line. Chris, as we mentioned, has 30 points in this one. He has been fantastic for the Scrappers. He's going to go to the line to try to add to that 30-point total. Makes the first free throw, extends the lead to 5. Now, if you're the Mystics, knowing that you probably have to foul every defensive possession here on out, are you looking for threes or are you looking for twos as Michael gets an offensive rebound?
I
Mystics
think
get it
there's
back.
still enough time to just get a good look. Obviously, Neo has been able to have some success from outside 3-point line, so that's a
And there's
perfect
your good look.
look if you're the Mystics. You take that.
Yeah, definitely take that. 39 now for the Mystics, trailing by 3 after that layup from Dave. And just like you mentioned, that is the good look he wanted. Dave's first points of the game coming with a minute left in crunch time.
Yeah, and there you just gotta foul Michael right away. If he gets the ball, you just gotta, as we see, a travel, which is what you can't afford if you're the Scrappers.
I believe it might have been a double dribble call. It was Scrappers seemed like they thought it was a questionable call there, as they probably felt that the Mystics were trying to foul anyways. Should have gotten the foul call, but they called the double dribble. So Mystics now with a chance to tie it up if they go for 3. Neal with the runner and no good. Maybe a bit of an over contested shot there. Neal fouls Chris.
Yeah, I believe he was trying to draw a foul, but that was good defense with the Scrappers, and the refs were not fooled on that play.
Chris going back to the line. 31 points for him now. Looking to ice this game away. Needs to at least make one to make it a 2-possession game again. And he knocks down the first.
Clutch shooting by Chris Keena.
He has Michael and Chris Heights get back to avoid any fouls. Don't want to foul the Mystics now, especially if you're Michael. No triple bonus as Chris knocks down both free throws. 33 points for Chris in this one. What a performance in the playoffs with the season on the line. Neal, no good. Michael with the rebound, and he is fouled.
Dang it.
Yeah, good foul by Dave. Before you can get the ball in the hands of your best player, Chris Keena, just foul him right away, and you save some time doing so as well.
It is Dyer here for the Mystics now with 30 seconds to go. Mystics up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and for the Scrappers, I would have at least one person trying to get an offensive rebound because you have 3 people back there trying to get a board for the Mystics. You could afford to have one person there trying to fight for the rebound. I mean, what do you lose? I mean, there's always a chance he fouls, but just go up with it cleanly.
Yeah, and at this point, the Mystics will be following them every possession anyways. Michael knocks down the free throw. And Travis pushing up. And that is Michael's first points of the game, by the way. So now everyone has scored after that Dave bucket and the Michael free throw. Mystics lose it out of bounds. Mystics down 6. They're going to need a miracle here if they want to make something happen.
Yeah, and the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over. Just get fouled and go to the line and hit your free throws.
Michael back to the line. It is a lot of fouling here at the end of this one, and I guess that's kind of the way these games go when it's multiple possessions late in the game. And Mystics have not been hitting a lot of free throws here. The Scrappers have not been hitting a lot of free throws. Definitely been leaving the door open for the Mystics. Would make it a 3-possession game, and it does. So it's a 7-point game now. But you would love to see maybe some rule changes potentially to help speed up these end of game processes as another foul slows down the end of this one. 9 seconds left though, 7-point game. This one is all but over, barring something egregious happening. Heights going to the line. And this has been something that's been discussed throughout the season. The end of game fouling has really drawn out these games and lengthened the outcomes, but in the end, the deserving team is going to win in this one. The Scrappers had the big lead at halftime. Mystics punched back in that third quarter, took the lead after the third quarter, but the Scrappers find a way in the fourth quarter, dig deep, and will come away with the win, going to their third straight championship.
Yes, great win by the
I mean,
Scrappers,
that was kind of over the back.
and they deserve it. I mean, they were the better team today. The Mystics gave a really good fight in the second half, but it just too little, too late.
The Mystics did outscore the Scrappers by a score of 24-8 in that third quarter. But despite that big quarter, they fall to the Scrappers by a score of 46-39. Scrappers in the fourth quarter reversing it and outscoring the Mystics 16-6. Big fourth quarter. Chris Kina, 33 points in the game. He was taking the entire offense on his shoulders in the second half. Scored all of the points for the Scrappers in the third quarter to keep them in it. And he is obviously the game's MVP. He also had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals to fill out his stat sheet. He got contributions of 6 points from Chris Heights, 5 points from Carson Braswell, only 2 points from Michael on the 2 free throws at the end. But Michael leads the game with 19 rebounds, including 8 on the offensive end. Fantastic hustle from Michael Roberts, out rebounding who many consider to be the best rebounder in the league in Hunter Freeman. Hunter with 15 rebounds, 14 points on the game. Neal was the leading scorer for the Mystics at 18 points, also at 10 rebounds. And then the scoring for the Mystics rounded out with 5 points for Travis and 2 points for Dave coming in at the end. Overall, a fantastic season for the Mystics. They came away with 2 wins, almost got 2 wins alone against the Scrappers. Got that big win earlier in the season to stamp their playoff hopes, but in the playoffs, while they fought hard, they were not able to do it again. The Scrappers get their revenge, and the Scrappers go to the championship to face the Ball Hogs. Ball Hogs went 1-0 against the Scrappers in the 1-1 against the Scrappers in the regular season. They are 2 very evenly matched teams. Obviously, Garrett Brooks is an MVP candidate for the Ball Hogs. Iskina, MVP candidate for the Scrappers. A lot of headlines for this championship game. What are you looking forward to most in the championship matchup between the Scrappers and the Ball Hogs?
Yeah, I think a battle between the 2 superstars. I mean, you got Garrett and Chris, who are 2 of the top players in this league. I think that should be very exciting. It will be exciting to see who's guarding each other. I mean, will Chris be guarding Garrett in this game? Just kind of like how he did with Neal. Will Garrett be guarding Chris? Yeah, it'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if the role players can step up and hit big shots for the Ball Hogs and the Scrappers. So I'm excited. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I think it's going to come down to the wire. But yeah, like I think it's going to be a worth the final to watch.
Definitely. Hunter, obviously one of the top players in SPBL history, but Chris has gotten the better of him in each of the first 2 seasons. Chris coming away with 2 championships, Hunter looking for his first one, and the Scrappers looking for that elusive three-peat. And as we saw today, I'm sure much of the league will be against them in the championship game, but the Ball Hogs should be a formidable opponent for them, and it should be a fantastic matchup. That is all for us in this broadcast. We thank you for joining us for this fantastic semifinal game. The doubleheader in the semifinals has concluded with the Ball Hogs taking down the Blackfriars and the Scrappers taking down the Mystics, avenging their loss from earlier in the season. We are in store for a fantastic championship game, and we hope you join us again for the championship. This is the main Piasek cast signing out. Carson Piasek, Angel Diaz, give us the last word, Angel.
Take care, guys. We'll see you for the finals.
Tonight, only 2 teams still stand ready to claim the title.
What do you have to say to the rest of the league who feels that the super team only got better this offseason?
Obviously, expectations are high. Really can't even exceed what you did last season. You can only meet.
Yeah, I think the best team is the Scrappers once again. I mean, it's kind of like the cheat. It's like if you have Mahomes, he's gonna get the job done.
I'm surprised that they allowed this team to be constructed, honestly.
Honestly, I think the worst team is probably Garrett's team. This team, on paper, has the worst supporting cast.
Worst team, I would say Garrett's. I think Garrett is really, really good, and he could potentially carry their team. And they have good ball movement. That was like the most obvious to pick as the worst team.
And I am actually also going to go Garrett's team. I just don't see the half-court offense, and I think that's really going to hurt them in the long run when it comes to consistently winning.
And right now, the odds are favoring the Scrappers.
All that matters is tonight. Who will win this league?
It's the SPBL. Anything can happen.